Hey guys, you're watching the Shift Training Channel.
Where we talk about personal development, we talk about physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, and just overall well-being.
And today we're going to be talking about intention, expectation, and investments.
Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right, the first question is, for the sake of clarity, how would you define intention, expectation, and investments?
All right, cool. So let's be brief about this just so we're all on the same page. I assume everybody watching this kind of knows, but let's say you don't. Intention is what you intend upon doing, what you say, I'm going to do this. Like, I intend to go to the grocery store and leave with groceries. That is your intention. Expectation is you expect to actually get there and leave with the groceries you set out to leave. Sometimes we might expect things like not to have a giant line, or sometimes we expect there to be a crazy line. You don't know, but you have a preset thought about what the outcome should be. That's an expectation. And then investments. By going to the grocery store and buying these groceries, you are investing in your health, your ability to live another day. You're investing in not feeling hungry. So investment is action for the future, like sowing seed and seeing what comes of it later.
Cool. All right. So intention is why you're doing what you're doing, and there's always intention behind on what you're doing, and then expectation is mostly the outcome, what you want, and then the investment is the process.
100%.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
What are some of the challenges with expectations?
Ooh, okay. What are some of the challenges with expectations? I think before I say anything, I'm gonna let you go for that. What are some of the challenges with expectations?
I believe one of the challenges on expectation is just we're solely focused on the outcome and the results. And without and before we get into the investment, I think investment is the crucial part of the process of that, because expectation is just you just thinking ahead in the future. You're just focusing on the results without the inner work, the process, and the energy.
Yep, total focus on outcome, not so much focus on the process. And as we've heard many very successful, however you define success, individuals point out that, you have to be aware of what you're pursuing, but at the same time, it's the process. If you don't love the game, you shouldn't be playing the game. That's the real key to winning. You're not gonna outwork somebody that loves what you guys are doing and you hate it. You're just not gonna win. They love it. They're gonna whoop your tail all day.
Exactly.
Yep. So
you just don't want the fame or like the money. They have this inner passion that they have.
Right. So expectation. The challenge with that is becoming fixated on just the outcome.
Exactly.
Cool. What's the next question?
Next question. Why are investment more important than expectation?
I think we kind of just said it because it keeps you focused on the process and possibly the future. But what do you think about that?
I think as I mentioned, I think if you focus more on the inner work, you'll have a better result. Because let's say an example, maybe your expectation or the outcome that you're looking for, you want to read a book a week. All right, so that's the expectation, that's the result that you want. But what happens if you don't finish the book in a week? You'll feel disappointed. But if we replace our expectation to investment, such as, okay, what am I gonna do to put in the work, the time, the energy? I'm gonna wake up every morning, 7 a.m. You gotta be specific. 7 a.m. in the morning.
Easy.
I'm gonna spend about 30 to 45 minutes, and that's your investment. You're not focusing on like the result, like reading the book. Same thing with your health. I want to be healthy. All right, that's all right. Everyone wants to be healthy. All right, how are you gonna invest? You're gonna have to research. After researching, you're gonna have to act. Obviously, it's only theoretical. It's only in your mind if you just research or study or review. And the third one is you do some reflection. Is there something wrong? Am I losing weight, or I'm still not healthy? So those three things, you want to be in that loop: research, act, and reflect.
Yeah, and I think that reflection part, in terms of like any area where you want to improve or high performance, as we would say, is it's evaluation, not per se judging. Which, by the way, let me be very clear when I say the word judging. I do not mean the word judging like everyone else says judging, because I don't believe judging is bad. I understand what is bad about judging, and it is condemnation. So don't condemn yourself. You should judge and you should evaluate if you want to improve. It is the only way to improve. However, it doesn't mean you have to condemn yourself for not hitting the mark. It is simply an assessment. You need to evaluate whatever it is and then move forward with that information without the condemnation. That's the hard part about judgment. You remove the condemnation out of it, judgment's not a problem anymore. So
yeah, I think that's a good distinction between judgment and reflection. And having that condemnation, you just bring yourself down and you go to that downward spiral. And I think another great tool that you can use for investment is calendar. I think calendar gives you that focus.
Shows you.
It keeps you on track. You don't make excuses. Once it's there, you gotta have to do it.
Put it all on there. Put your Netflix for 4 hours on there, and then start looking at your calendar and be like, damn, I spend 20 hours a week on Netflix.
Oh my goodness.
But I don't have time to go to the gym.
Yeah, and it's hard to lose track when you have a calendar. And if you don't do it, you just lose credibility
with
yourself.
Yeah.
And you'll find out that, you'll find your capacity. Sometimes when we first do it, we fill up as much as we can, because this happened to me. I would put like, on Monday, I'm going to do this, work out, read books, and meditate an hour or whatever. I think you'll find out, you'll find your capacity, and then you'll feel it in your body. It's like a rubber band, when you stretch it too hard, it rips, you get burned out. But if you do it little by little, then it becomes easier. You build that muscle.
100%.
Yeah, and it's like a flower too,
Oh, go ahead. Let's
the
go.
expectation. I think I told you this. The flower is like the result. It's a thing in a way. It's a way of thinking of the future.
Right. Everybody wants that end beauty, but it's the fleeting. That's fleeting. It's like the smallest percentage of the life cycle.
Exactly, and the seed is more important, because you put time, energy, and some, you nourish that that flower so it can grow. So that's your result, when you put in the time. Right,
100%.
And another one is like
he's got them today. Let's go.
Yeah, so think about like a building, like massive building. What is that building from? The tallest building.
I don't know. It's like the Chrysler or Empire State Building.
Exactly.
One of those is really tall.
Yeah. So think about expectation. When you go inside, you look for the exit. That's like expectation. But when you go inside, when you think about the investment, you try to explore, what's in there, what's in this building. Does that make sense?
That's true. Okay, I see where you're going with that. That's interesting.
Yeah. And another one. All right, your turn.
All right, cool. Investments are important, not just for the fruit they will yield later, but it's the focus on the process. If you're aware, if you remain open to what the process can yield, you might be thinking, I want this one orange, if you're set on the expectation. But if you allow yourself to be open to the idea of investments and remain open to the process, you might not just get a single orange. You might get an entire orange tree that bears several oranges for you seasonally. And that's a huge difference. Do you want one orange, or do you want an orange tree that gives you many oranges? And that's key to understand and how you move forward with this stuff. So,
well, that leads me to our next question. Let's talk about the relationship between intention, expectation, and investments.
Oh, this is going to be funsies. Okay, so there's a dichotomy, there's a dance, there's a relationship between all the things always going on. So intention, expectations, and investments. I want to try to present this in a way where it's like, think of yourself, but also think of how this cycle plays out for other people and your role in influencing that for other people. So we're going to start with self first. So let's say you have an intention. I intend to go to, pick a movie, the store. You want to go somewhere and do something. And you intend to go there and your intention is to have a good time and enjoy yourself. Your expectation is probably heavily tied to or correlated to that intention. So I'm going to set out and go have a good time. And my expectation is to have a good time with as least interference or trash in my way. I don't want any inconveniences. It's going to go just how I intended.
No trash.
However, no trash in the way. So unfortunately, there's probably going to be something that you do not expect because your expectation is completely locked on the intention without any filtering or refining. Which can be good, it can be bad, but your expectation is usually heavily tied to your intention. Now, what happens is if something unexpected happens that disrupts that, like let's say a car accident, right? That probably put a little sting in your day. However, let's say that could either completely detour some people and just mess up their whole day, or some people might say, okay, yep, this sucks, this is what's going on, but is my car still drivable? Can I still move towards my intention? All right, well, that sucked. I just had to pay the fee for that. Ate a big fat L. And you know what? I'm going to take that and I'm going to invest it to make today so much more fun. I'm going to exceed that intention I originally had. I'm going to make it even better because I paid a fee already. I'm investing. I'm back to investing. And that's a big difference from your day being completely salty versus like, I turned that whole ship around and made it into something good.
Yeah.
I think that's one way to look at it.
Yeah, I think that's important. There will be days or like unforeseen circumstances that will happen and their expectation just crash. And sometimes it's good to expect things that could go wrong as well. So that's why investment, like putting in the work inside is even if it doesn't work, you're still putting in the inner work.
Right, 100%. There's still growth there. This is something to gain.
Exactly.
I think another example I'll use myself, and I'll talk about it not per se in a like situational thing, but like in terms of mindset, thought, approach kind of way. So for myself, sometimes anyone can say like, oh, that sucks, or you took an L today. Or I took an L or something like that, or it felt like an L, felt like a loss. Sometimes things don't always go the way you want. And again, expectations tied to intention. For me personally, when I set an intention, I do have an expectation. I may temper the expectation knowing that there's going to be a certain degree of stuff that gets in my way. However, I generally am bothered by this if it doesn't seem random. So for example, a random thing occurring or whatever, like a car accident, random-ish, right? But something that's just like seemingly unavoidable. I tend to have no problem with it. However, if I have an intention and I see that it is someone else's intention or expectation or action that's stopping it, and they could just go like, oh yeah, let's just change paths a little so we don't go like this. I'm generally bothered by it personally. That's something I'm working on. But for myself, when I intend to do something, I expect some stuff to get in my way, and I expect to move towards it. But I do not expect the people that I have a good connection with or a good relationship with to interfere and get in the way of my intention, which is not realistic because in reality, that happens all the time. And this is one of those things where it's like, you have to be mindful of what the trade-off is there and what the investment is. So for example, if I intend to do something, my expectation is to manifest said result despite whatever happens along the way. And I will take everything that happens along the way and turn it into an investment. The one area where I really struggle is when I feel like it's someone where we have a connection and I feel like, well, I see your intention. I go out of my way to make sure my intention does not interfere with yours. Or I'll make sure that my intention, whatever it is, possibly supports yours, lifts you up. And I expect similar in return. The hardest thing for me to understand has been that not everybody operates that way. And I think this is something reason why I'm presenting this is so that anyone can be mindful of it. For example, if someone's upset with you and you don't know why, they might not be upset with you whatsoever, but it's very possible that they had an intention and expectation and you thwarted it without even knowing it. I'm not married, but I've heard many stories from married men and their wife being upset because they messed up something. The wife was like, this is my intention, I had this expectation, and the man messed it up. You better turn that into investment real quick, fellas, and sort it out with your lady. But it's that kind of thing. So intention, expectations, investment, not just in regards to ourselves, but also being mindful of how our intention and our expectations may disrupt things for other people, might make it harder for them to take things and turn them into investments, might make it harder for them to be present and focus on the process. We're all doing a dance and interacting with one another. So this is one of those things that I think we should be very mindful of.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. That's a good example, Coach Law.
Yeah, awesome. So is that everything? We're done for today?
I think that's it. Oh, well, let's see if I really understand this
All right,
clearly. Maybe you could use a person's who just broke up with somebody, right?
Oh, okay.
Let's see. So this guy saw something in the social media, and then his ex was with somebody, a different guy, and and his intention was like, all right, I'm gonna become healthy now, but the intention is coming from, like
he messed himself up.
Yeah, it's because he's jealous, right? So the expectation now is like, all right, I'm gonna get healthy, I'm gonna be in shape, but the intention is from making the ex-girlfriend jealous.
Yeah, I think I think for that example, it's about also being aware of what your intention actually is. So if you say, I expect to get fit and I intend to do what about it? Like, is your intention to get fit? You have the expectation of getting fit, but why? Like, what is your actual intention?
Yeah.
Is your intention to cultivate self-love?
Yeah.
Or is your goal to actually get fit?
Yeah. The intention was in a different direction, so it's not powerful as when you do it for yourself, like for your own benefits.
Well, there's no congruence. So that's the thing, it's out of alignment. It's not, the things can't flow together when they're like separated. It makes some weird shape.
Yeah.
But intention, you need to be clear about what your intention is. Because like I said, expectations are tied to it. So let's say you have a certain expectation, but you don't know what the intention behind it is. Like, you don't really understand it. Whatever like for example, if I expected to go to the beach and have an amazing time, what is the intention? Is the intention to go and be in the sun and be connected to nature? Or is it to go look around for attractive people? Or is it to have a great conversation with a stranger? What is that actual intention? Because if you don't know and you just go to the beach and like, yeah, this is my expectation, and you get there, you're like, wait, this feels empty and meaningless. Like, I don't even know why I'm here anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people go through a real long, hard journey expecting that something else, expectation, to focus on the outcome, the result,
external
will bring them what they're seeking, but they don't even know what they're actually seeking. So they just ran a marathon for no reason.
Yeah. I think that's so essential, knowing the intention internally, and you can't really see that sometimes on the outside. Right.
And I think I said no reason, but in reality, why you ran that was an investment. It was an investment in you coming to understand what your true intention was. I think there's a cheaper, smarter way to invest to understand your intention. It's called journaling. But if you want to run marathons and push yourself super hard and do all kinds of crazy, difficult things, jumping through hoops just to discover your intention, hey, it's an investment and it's all good. It will help you sooner or later, one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all comes down. I think that's one of the biggest breakthrough for me as well, like the intention behind whatever it is. Like, you can have an intention of giving a flower to your partner. That means, love. You can give a flower to somebody, and somebody like your friend, that means what intention, that maybe you appreciate that person,
Right. I like your flower example too, because sometimes the expectation is my intention is to show love. My expectation is they will receive the love, not being aware of their love language. And they go, I don't even like flowers. Now you're feeling hurt because your expectation was shattered, even though you intended well. Intention was good. Expectation may not have been properly tempered or adjusted to actually hit your goal of making sure that said person felt or received the love.
Yeah.
So you need to be very clear on those types of things and how that dance works. All right. I think we're done.
I think that's it for us.
Okay.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, review, comment down below. What do you guys think about expectation, investment, and intention?
Yeah. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this content, we'd appreciate a share. Send it to somebody. If you enjoyed it in any capacity, that helps us grow and it helps us to serve more people. With that, I believe we're done. We hope that you have a fantastic day and know that you are capable of owning your life. Take care.